it always particularly meaningful to hear these sad presentations by Japanese scholar and Japanese friends. There is a small proportion of Japanese in Japan really worried about what Japan did and what Japan does still. And also I greatly appreciated the two counselors talking about these important matters as they work very closely with people in the community. I really appreciate it. Friends and community members, we gathered here in Melbourne on the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation to mark International Women's Day 2026 this year. Our theme is Women's Voices, War, Memory, and the Pursuit of Peace. It is a heavy title, but an important one. We are here to bridge the gap between the grand, often painful memories of history and the quiet, everyday injustices that women still face on our streets and in our workplaces. When we talk about war and memory, we are not just talking about dates in a textbook. We are talking about the flesh and blood endurance of women who refused to be erased. To understand what it means to reclaim dignity, we must look to the late Bok-dong. She was a survivor of the comfort women system, a euphemism for the horrific sexual slavery orchestrated by the Japanese military during World War II. But Bok-dong refused to be defined only by her victimhood. Instead of retreating into her own pain, she became a lighthouse for others. She traveled the world, standing in solidarity with the survivors of sexual violence from civil wars in the Congo and Uganda. In those regions, women who had lost everything called her our hero, our mother, and our hope. She showed us that remembrance is not a passive act. It is a tool for global justice. Grandmother Kim's strength was most visible when she stood against the 2015 Korea-Japan Comfort Women Agreement. While politicians tried to settle history with a checkbook, she spoke a truth that no amount of money could buy. She said, even if Japan offered us 10 billion yen, I wouldn't accept it. This is not about money. She knew that without a sincere formal apology and an admission of the truth, there is no peace, only a transaction. The Japanese government's refusal to take full responsibility remains a cowardly act that impedes true reconciliation. Closer to home for her, it is equally disturbing to see stand-partist conservative groups in Korea attempt to rewrite history, reducing these survivors to mere prostitutes. This is the dark side of our world. Under the shield of neoliberalism, too many people have become focused on their own selfish desires and marketable truth, ignoring the vulnerable to protect their own status. Grandma Kim taught us that peace is built on the truth, even when the truth is really inconvenient. But as we honor those who survived literal battlefields, we must also look at the everyday practices that continue to erode women's dignity right here in our own community. We don't need a declaration of war to see women being mistreated. It happens in the normal flow of life. There are three common things this disrespect manifests. First, systemic inequality without overt intent. This is the built-in unfairness. It is the promotion cycle that ignores a mother's career break or the medical research that treats the male body as the default. No one may be trying to be mean, but the system itself is designed as if women's lives are an afterthought. Second, culturally normalized devaluation. We see this in how society views women's roles and bodies. From the hypersexualization of girls in media to the invisible labor of women at home, we have been conditioned to see women's contributions as less valuable or their bodies as public property. Third, everyday interpersonal practices that erode agency. This is the small matter but adds up. It's being interrupted in a meeting, having your expertise questioned, or having your personal boundaries ignored in casual conversation. The tragedy is that these behaviors are often normalized, routinized, and misrecognized. We don't call them injustice, we call them just the way things are. But when we allow these small erodes of respect, we are failing the legacy of women like Kim Bok-dong. My key suggestion today is simple. As a community, we must learn to treat women with dignity and respect. Peace is not just the absence of bombs and guns. Peace is in the presence of security, the affirmation of human rights, and the simple daily practice of seeing a woman as a whole human being with full agency over her life and her story. We honor the memory of the past by changing the present practices. We honor the voices of those who suffered in war by listening to the voices of those who are struggling in our offices, our homes, and our community centers today. Let us leave here today committed to more than just a theme. Let us commit to a pursuit of peace that begins with the way we look at, speak to, and value the women